All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. My apologies for the delay, but we're going to kick off our October board meeting. We're joining you from the incubator room at the secondary campus. That's why we've got a different background, but we're very excited to see you all. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just walk us through the agenda quickly. At the start of our meeting tonight, we're going to have some time for public comment. Anyone who would like to comment can take 33 minutes to do so. You can either raise your hand or drop a note in the chat if you would like to make a comment, and we'd be happy to hear all of those. Next up, we're going to take a look at last meeting's minutes and vote on those. After that, we're going to have an update from the administration team, an update from Karen and the PTO. Then we'll jump into a finance update. We've got a couple of updates about some additional board topics. After that, we'll have a committee update from all of our board committees, a president's update from Stacy, and then we'll wrap up. Okay. So first, we do have our guidelines for public comment posted in board docs if anyone has any questions or want to reference those. But at this time, we will give anyone who would like to speak an opportunity to do that. So you can raise your hand or come off mute or drop a note in the chat if you would like to make a public comment. All right, I'm not seeing anything on my end. So if you've got anything, you can drop it in the chat. Otherwise, we'll move along to our next topic. Okay, next up, we're going to take a look at the board meetings from the September meeting. Those are posted in the board docs agenda, if anyone didn't get a chance to look at those. All right.
I reviewed the
September
minutes.
Okay. We have
I'll make a motion to approve our September minutes.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, okay, motion carries and the minutes are approved. All right, next up, I'm going to pass it over to the admin team for their updates. Heather, I'll hand it to you.
So we'll start off, I guess. I think I heard Kathy on here. Kathy, would you like to share a little bit about what's going on your campus?
Can do. Honestly, haven't spent too much time preparing. We have been very deep in report card land recently. So our first batch of report cards went out on MRX not long ago. So I'm already getting a few emails here and there with questions. So I'll probably be multitasking during this meeting as we work through report cards. But I do want to say a massive word of thanks to all the teachers for figuring it out, to Melissa for working on the connection between MRX and Transparent Classroom. She worked very closely with Dave, and I joked with Dave today that Dave is the guy who created MRX. Joked with him that he must regret the day he ever heard Innovation Montessori, because honestly, his level of customer support, like, he has invited all the teachers to just call him whenever. And I know one of our teachers was on to him twice at the weekend. So he's just so patient. Anyway, so what we had to do was, because we wanted the report card to look very similar to what we had with Transparent Classroom, and this year at least, Melissa had to go in with Dave and assign particular lessons out of lists of hundreds of lessons to correlate to each item on the 3 various report cards, and then give teachers the cheat sheet, and then they had to scroll through all the lessons and just score. Like, it's been a lot. So thanks to all our teachers, and thanks to Melissa for helping that. And of course, Eileen, who spent a lot of time reading report cards over the last few days with me. So, and Melissa. So, yeah, so that's report cards. We think it's going to be great. So hopefully you all who are parents have gotten yours already and that they look good. Have I got thumbs up from people?
Good job.
I got at
Yes,
least
great.
60%.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good. I heard from one staff member who's also a parent on the way out today that they had gotten there, so that's great. The other big news is the conference day tomorrow, so no school. I put a reminder up on Parent Square, and we look forward to parents and teachers having lots of time to get together and meet face to face or on Zoom to discuss children's progress. That's a big thing. Then we'll have upcoming, I think is it November 12th, a parent education night. So just want to make sure that parents have that on their radar. We'll talk more about that in Parent Square. And the St. Augustine field trip for Upper L will be coming up before we know it. So all those balls are rolling and things are going well.
All right, thank you, Kathy. John, would you like to share?
Sure. I don't have three different report cards to talk about. I just have one, and that went swimmingly. So thank you to the teachers. Thank you to Cindy, and thank you to Allison for doing that and getting it done so smoothly. I also want to reiterate that tomorrow is our conference day as well. I don't think we had one last year, so this will be a new experience for me over at the high school, and we are looking forward to those who have signed up and are coming. So our teachers are waiting for you, and they're all looking forward to it. So we look forward to seeing people tomorrow. Our season right now is really into our field trip season. We've had a couple of field trips. One today. We'll have one on Friday out to UCF for our STEM day, and then coming up, not this Friday, the next Friday, we're going to the Renaissance Fair. So it's been a lovely kind of couple of weeks as everybody's ramping up. We also have some wonderful theater things happening. So we're rocking and rolling. It's going down the hallways. It's fun to see kids preparing all their cool stuff. So we're stoked. Also had another successful community day last week, and that was really cool to get out there and play with the kids. And there may or may not be some rumors of me being needed a wheelchair because I'm too old to play with the kids anymore. But I tried and failed valiantly, but it was fun.
Melissa, would you like to kind of share what's going on in your world?
Yeah, definitely. I just love the energy of our amazing principal teams. I just I just feel so inspired by both teams daily. So just want to preface it with that as well as the staff. Just so heartfelt in everything that they do, so innovative, and you can tell that the IMO and the IMHS staff are, this is a calling. So it just had, I just want to echo that energy. I know that everyone feels that when they heard Kathy share and John, but that's really the day-to-day experience. So it's emotional. It's really wonderful. And so with that, Kathy shared about the report cards. So we are really proud of our staff coming together to learn a new system and put their all into it and just lend helping hands to each other. So that's been a big lift for everyone. So just want to give that shout out to the staff. In terms of our professional learning communities, we have our facilitator training. So our last one is coming up next week. So in collaboration with our principal teams, we have identified facilitators, and they have their last facilitator training next week, and then the teacher facilitators are going to go and lead those professional learning communities, and we are also going to be joining them. So our admin team is going to be participating and observing those coming up in November with the first teacher facilitator led PLCs. We have a phenomenal math committee going on at the elementary campus. So we have wonderful volunteer teachers who are participating on that committee, being leaders in that work, and as well as giving some encouragement to get some more members of the team. So we have a great team working on identifying specific areas, standards, that we want to address and improve our Montessori lessons and instruction, and making sure to touch on these key areas that we've identified that we want to work on. So I had the honor of observing Miss Denise and Miss Cindy. I think it was last week, it might have been the week before, but they put together Montessori materials and talked through how to address certain standards utilizing the book Montessori Math, Maintaining the Magic While Addressing What's Missing by Sarah Cotner. And I think there was a great discussion going on, and Miss Eileen and Miss Kathy and I, we had a chance to touch base after and just debrief, and that was the same across the board for the primary, teacher-led professional learning, as well as the upper elementary. I saw Mr. Kamani's on here. I know he was a big part of it, so I heard yours went fabulous, Mr. Kamani. We also have, tomorrow we're going to be working on planning our next cross-campus staff event to keep that collaboration across campuses going strong. We had our previous event with the swap and just heard wonderful things from staff about getting to get into the secondary campus. Some it was their first, and see all the amazing prepared environments and how we meet the needs of the adolescent in the secondary campus. So that was lovely to see. We also have our multi-tiered systems of support, our MTSS. We kicked off our committee that's working, committee, I would say committee, yeah, it's a team, it's a committee working on developing a handbook for our social skill development and behavior. So looking at how we're navigating that. And so we have wonderful social work team across campuses, as well as our counselor and our dean really coming together to put that handbook together. So that's been a monthly event that we have going on. And just a lot of strong collaboration between Mrs. Robinson with her MTSS academics, as well as Miss Chila at the elementary team, coming together to really determine how to best meet the needs of all of our students. So that's been really exciting to see both the social emotional side, behavior side, as well as the academic side, and really getting into discussions about best practices around meeting students' needs. And then I would just say, yeah, lastly, we have our Montessori 101 or Montessori assistance training going on to just really uplift best practices in Montessori at the elementary campus. So we have our new to Montessori teachers in there, new to Montessori staff, and as well as our Montessori assistants. And their last module was focused on the hands, eyes, and hearts of the adults that are a part of our Montessori community. And I want to give a shout out to our fabulous educational assistants. Their work, we talked about it, Miss Eileen and I had a chance to touch base after that, how sometimes their work goes unseen, but they're a critical piece of our Montessori puzzle. They greet our students, they support our students with their problem solving day to day, whether it's on the playground or on the way into the campuses, and preparing the classroom environments. Just wonderful, wonderful humans. So want to make sure to highlight that, as well as our new to Montessori teachers. They're really great across campuses. So it's just been a privilege to get to work alongside them.
Thank you so much, Melissa. So Melissa shared a lot of the things that I had already written down. So I'm just going to do brief. I know I'm going to have
Kathy's got her hand up.
Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead, Kathy. Sorry.
Sorry, I completely forgot to mention our fall feast for staff that PTO and parents put on for us on Wednesday. It was absolutely stunning. I put some pictures on Parent Square. The decor was amazing and the food was delicious. So thanks so much to everyone, to PTO for organizing, and for parents for donating too. It was amazing. Thank you.
Also, I'm like so intrigued by this campus swaps.
Mhm.
Like, I'd love to hear from John and Eileen and Kathy of like, what is like their biggest aha that day? I'm assuming it was a day where they just went to the other campus and just got to see like how it functions, or just, I don't know. I'm just curious. It seems like a big endeavor.
So I'll give you the logistics and then they can kind of talk through what happened that day. But what we did was all elementary staff came here and all secondary staff went to the other campus. And so they received tours at
Okay.
both campuses. And so I think feedback was very positive. Oh, I didn't realize that they did that at the secondary level, or, oh, that's what that looks like at the elementary, but everybody got a chance to attend.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to add something about those days, but, or that day, but.
I can go first, Kathy, if that's okay. So one of the things that really struck me is that we actually had several students lead the tours. This was not a us led, we had a presentation for everybody, but really it was our ambassadors and a couple of, a lot of our students that were part of this had actually been on the other campus to begin their educational careers. And a lot of the teachers, something that really stuck with me was the teachers, the elementary teachers got to see some of their old students and kind of see their impact long term. And that to me was, more than an aha moment. You do this because you want to see the long-term impacts on people, right? That's why you're a teacher. That's why you're in education. It was really cool for me to see teachers in real time see that and then express that. So it was really nice to see that. The kids were really excited to see some of their teachers as well. They're like, "Oh, I remember, she was my fourth grade teacher or something like." And I was just like, "Wow, okay." The kids remember this as well. So it was for us, it was as impactful for it seemed to be as impactful for the teachers. And I know it was is super impactful for the students that were part of it. So we were real proud of what our teacher or what our students did. So it was really cool. I enjoyed it.
We heard great reports from our team who were over there, John. I'm going to pass to Eileen and let Eileen speak about the visit on our end of things.
Yeah, John, we had the feedback from our teachers that like not everybody's gotten a chance to go over there and actually talk to the students. And I think that even that campus has changed so much in the past few years. And so they were thrilled to see like, okay, once I send my upper L students, like where do they go? What kind of classes are they involved in? What opportunities do they have? So that was really fantastic. And Kathy and I really enjoyed welcoming the secondary staff over. So we did it. If any of you guys have been on the amazing Wednesday, truly 2 hour, could be 5 hour tour, that's what we did. And we always say that because there are so many amazing things that we want to talk about our school, about public Montessori. And it actually was very warm that day. So we usually start on the porch. And I was like, Kathy, can we bring everybody inside? And it was so lovely. We went and sat in Dolly and we sat in a circle. And it was great. One, personally, just for Kathy and I too, to meet so much of the secondary staff because there's a lot of new faces. So we loved that. And then we gave, the history kind of our school. We talked about starting with parents writing the charter, and we talked about Plant Street and the building that we're in now. And then it's amazing. We talk about Maria Montessori, of course, and the 4 developmental planes that she found through our observation, her work with children. And then we're in a class, like we're in a primary classroom, and we talk about the primary stage of development. And then they looked at the shelves, and we had some amazing teachers in secondary making connections about things that they saw in the primary classroom that they might try to implement something similar in their secondary classroom, whether it's a piece area or even just like shelf work, that idea is like a consistent thread throughout our primary, our elementary, our secondary programs. And then we moved on to lower L and upper L. And I think that really continued where teachers were like, oh, that's why we do certain things. So a lot of aha moments. I think a lot of good discussion around, like from the secondary team about things they want to make sure they take to their campus, and really understanding like the history of the school, and just the grounding in Montessori that students have before they come over there to the campus. Anything
I'd
I
like to
forgot,
add-
Kathy, or anything you want to add? Oh, you're
I'd
muted.
like to add something too
Oh, go
You
ahead,
did a
John.
great
Yeah.
job.
um, the teachers, a lot of the teachers that have been on the other campus previously felt they just really loved to connect with just a physical space again. They expressed that that was such a like kind of a rejuvenating experience for them. And then of course the new teachers were like, that place is really awesome. You know, they they could see why we do some of the things that we try to do on the secondary campus. And you know, how much could a tour be, right? Like how impact it literally had a lot of impact on our staff as well. Like they were super happy to come back on that Thursday, and they were just they got to see some of the littles as well when they were there in some of the after school programs. So it was our teachers had a great time. So thank you for all what you did over there.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I could just tell that's probably a lot of planning and a lot of commitment. So I'm glad it was really fruitful.
That was my goal as well, or I think that was our goal, was to give them opportunity, but not make it one more thing for them to have
Yeah.
to do. So I'm glad the feedback. And so as Melissa said, we're actually having an admin meeting tomorrow, and that's one of our things is the next event. You know, what does that look like? Or, you know, we may even try to go off campus, but something where they can kind of come together and just spend time with each other, because it is hard having two different campuses, them not seeing each other. So that is on our agenda for tomorrow, along with PLC mission and vision planning for the administrators, course budget, and then walk through calibration. So that's kind of something we're going to do tomorrow. I did want to share just a little bit. I know Melissa's already shared a lot of it, but you know, we do our 30, 60, 90-day goals. And so I'm just going to give you a quick snapshot. Definitely could go in more detail, but every month I meet with each school and their administrators, and we go through what they plan for that month. And did we meet that? What happened? What's the next month? What does that look like? So this is up to, of course, September, because we'll reflect on October and November. But as Melissa said, this for elementary, the big focus was going to be the math committee meetings. And as she said, for September, they met, they started discussing pacing guides and those kind of things. And then I think they actually had their meeting last Wednesday. And so she talked a little bit already about that, and even narrowed down to like what area. So like on the 15th, they were going to talk about rounding and perimeter and area. So really looking at that. I met with Melissa yesterday, and she really dove into some of the things we started talking about. I said, well, you know, what can we look at to have that baseline for kids? Because we were merging kind of all the discussion on MTSS and everything together. And she's like, you won't believe it, but we've already started talking about that. And what could we look at for assessment wise, and to kind of get that common assessment to see where kids are, and then leads into MTSS. So it was nice to see that it's not just what we planned, it's what that committee is already just thinking out loud for. The other, of course, was looking at PM1 test data. And so Sheila has done a fabulous job. She is the LTSS coordinator for the elementary campus. She's already reviewed all of that data, tiered kids, met with teachers, looking at tier 3 kids and the data for that. So that's moving along smoothly. And as Melissa said, you know, we're in that stage of this year writing that MTSS handbook. So I've been able to share with the committees some examples and those kind of things, and then really working with on the behavior emotional side as well. So we don't want to leave that part out. That's another follow-up piece to that. PLCs, it looks like hopefully next month they'll start running on their own. And so that's where us as administrators are going to meet, kind of look at our mission and vision, and then how do we support those facilitators through that process and coach that way. But we also don't ever want PLCs to be an admin led. We want that to be the people that's in there on, you know, boots on the ground kind of thing. So they're going to be going through that. At the secondary level, same thing. Their big focus for September was writing essential questions. And so they did that work. You know, they're working with staff. I was able to set in on one at the end. Teachers came in, pulled out a standard, one-on-one. So each administrator met with a teacher. They just kind of went through them to say, I know how to find my standards. I know what my central question is. And so going through that, and then they actually have a PD tomorrow afternoon as well. And then same thing, PLCs, they are working through the facilitator training as well. Theirs looks a little different because, you know, teachers are specialized in subjects here, and so it's not just necessarily I'm going to do all of say 7th grade or upper L. It's my specific subject. So they're all kind of being facilitators versus at the elementary we have to select few doing that. So they're working through that process. Yeah, I think what else? To be the person on the other side watching our administrative team, I mean, our staff is phenomenal. But I also have to hand it to our administrators. They are balancing a lot of things right now. That's always thrown at you as an administrator. But I can say this is the first year in 3 that they don't look at me like, oh my gosh, what are you doing to me? Like Kathy and Eileen doesn't have to be the nurse anymore and all of those extra things. And then same thing with John and Kathleen. They've just kind of molded with each other and leading their ways, together. So I have to also brag on them and the hard work. It's not easy to say, oh, let me go ahead and fill out this action plan, as well. But they are staying on it. And so my discussions with them, I was able to start walkthroughs with the secondary, and I hope to, we're going to talk tomorrow and start scheduling that calibration at the elementary as well. But where we're walking through and talking about what we're seeing, and it's not so much to evaluate the teacher, it's more of us as administrators. Are we on the same page, and are we looking at the same things? And then how do we use this as a coaching, not as an evaluation, but how do we just all improve? Even as leaders, we need to know what's going on in the classrooms and being able to support them through all of their. So lots of good things happening on the instructional side and fighting to see. Definitely want to say thank you to our admin team. We will have for budget next month of an amendment, so that'll come later. Got to meet with Kevin and Billy today, and it was great sitting down and just kind of talking through things. So we'll definitely have that to share on it. I did write a grant. It was shared with me for McDonald's. It's for $10,000. I did it for the bus. I haven't heard anything, but hopefully they pick us. I tried to make it sound really good. That you wouldn't want a literacy bus. So hopefully we'll hear some good news. If not, that's okay too, but at least we were able to do that. And then I know we have on the agenda to talk about the policy review.
Yeah.
But before that, Stephen and I actually met with Suncoast Credit Union, and we had a parent to reach out to us and
Not
Seacoast. Not Seacoast, Suncoast. I was totally confused when they first
used to work with Seacoast.
Oh, did you? Yeah, well, that's who our solar loans serve.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a really nice meeting, and I'm sure he probably has it in his updates too. But came on campus, toured the campus with us.
Wow.
Talked through things, wanted to know what we needed, because they're really big into giving back. They're a nonprofit organization as well, and so giving back to the community, and so we rattled off a whole list with the goal that, maybe not right now, but down the road, they may want to buy a new fence, or they may want to renovate our bus, or something big project that we want done. So I felt like the meeting went pretty well with the company.
What is amazing to me, and it's a testament to our admin teams, is, as an ops guy, I'm going to bring people on the campus all the time and show them what we're doing. I can't do that if Kathy and John and Eileen and Kathleen are not making a great product. And every time I bring a vendor, or I had a contractor on our property, and just astounded at what we're doing and why it's special. We have one on Friday. To be able to share that mission and vision, but that is not possible without admin making a great school. So I think Suncoast is a great company. There are a lot of mission and vision alignment with us, and I see where all of these pieces together, not too distant. And I am more excited today than I have been in a long time for where, and it's whole unity of purpose. I'm excited.
We'll see what comes of that. The last thing, just enrollment, we came in at 914. on our enrollment count. As you remember, we budgeted 935, but we did, so we did come up a little bit, so that was exciting. Still not where we need to be. And we also have to remember that 914 included the opening of the new upper L classroom. And so, we didn't budget those numbers, but we do have those kids, so that's also offsetting some of that right now as well. Because I think we're still down 36 kids here at the secondary level, and I think 19 at the elementary level overall, but on budget wise, we're 21.
And where were we last time we met? So we've come up, but I can't remember.
Yeah, so when we first got our first round of numbers, it was 856.
Oh, okay.
But
So-
not everything was put in at that time, but yeah, we were, I think when we last talked, I think we were like at 890 or something like that. So definitely, but when they first sent us our FTE for the 1 month, it was like 856. But then, but that was also a lot of moving kids and enrolling kids at that time.
Heather, can I shout out the registrars?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like that was the amount of work that they were doing, Cindy and Kiana trying to get in the new staff or the new students was unbelievable and stressful and all the things. So a massive thanks to them.
Do you have a sense for the 19 in elementary? Are they mostly upper L?
Yes, I know Kathy and I met this afternoon. If I'm not mistaken, Kathy, you said 14 upper L. Yes, so we have 14 upper L. We do have a few kindergarten spots from the new kindergarten classroom, but she did just share with me that we have some 3 and 4 year olds on that has been on the list now, so we're gonna try to get them in.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently we've had a local school shut down and they're coming our way.
Yeah,
A Montessori school?
I don't think so.
so we're hoping to backfill some of those kindergarten spots with the.
Get some,
Tell their friend.
get some flyers over there. Yeah.
Tell their friend.
What expires in 10 seconds, so
Guys, a Viking is trying to sell me things. Okay.
Oh, I thought
That's my GPS. Yeah. I didn't know your GPS could sell you things, but on today, that's how it goes.
Mr. Stephen, do you have anything else you'd like to share?
So I just have a few, huge shout out to Mr. Tito and that crew. They are working incredibly hard. Running 2 campuses is not an easy challenge for them, and they're doing it. I think they're doing it exceptionally well. Also piggybacking onto that, huge shout out for, I pulled some stats this morning. We have over 40 days, so 950 something hours volunteer time registered. We absolutely could not run this business without that. So definitely something, keep logging those hours and we're gonna keep creating opportunities.
I had a question on that. I have noticed, like, especially because Miss Brittany is always looking for help in the lunchroom. I'm seeing her slots fill up. Is it just me, or is it like much easier this year with our emphasis on volunteer hours?
There is a much bigger push for people wanting to get their hours. But she's always looking for help and it's on us as a team to create those opportunities to welcome our families in to help us. So first fill up, but I think that's because that was the primary vector that people got hours in the past. We posted, I think Kathy posted signups for mulching tomorrow at the elementary campus. I think it filled up in like 7.
Wow.
So we appreciate the parents and the families wanting to come in and support what we're doing, and we will create more of those opportunities. We kind of move into January. For clubs, Ms. Courtney's going to announce a whole slate of clubs for the spring. We're going to do that next week. The Yoga Club is going to come back for all CASA through 6th grade, and we're excited to welcome Bricks and Block as a focus on STEM. And it's Lego building. We think that's going to be really popular in addition to soccer. We're really excited about that. And the marketing committee did a whole bunch of work on the website. It looks absolutely wonderful. I look forward to more of that. And I absolutely could not have done that. So thank you very much for that. I think that's all I've got.
Well, and I want to shout out first, Ms. Court for her base. Like, listen, I put up parent square posts and I swear, and she'll be like, can you take it down? The camp's already full. Like it is
Oh,
so
wow.
quick, but she is just, putting them out there and trying new things. So I think the Science Adventure Day, I think we had what, 50
Yeah,
something?
54.
Yeah, so I know that's outside of what we typically do for base, but it is definitely there. So the shout out to her and her crew for working so hard on doing that. And I'm glad you talked about the marketing committee. So lots of moving parts in different areas. So I definitely want to schedule and bring this all back together. They've been working on the website and that looks phenomenal. I've been working with Miss Nicole. She has been so much help on a lot of things. So we're going to have some ads in the newspapers. And then, of course, as you know, we had NPR, but she's been helping through that side as well of getting people in. And then I know there's a lot of other things going on. So I definitely will be coming back together as a committee to really see where everybody's at and then what's our next steps and what that look like. So shout out to all of the families that's been working. I think that's it. And then I don't know if you want me to go into the policy.
Yeah,
So-
let's go into the policy.
Yeah, so through this whole process, one of the things that we realized we did not have was an advertising policy. And PTO came to me last year and said, hey, we have some businesses possibly wanting to donate to the school, but what does that look like? What can they get? And so, I know in the past we kind of tried to shy away from that. Not that we don't want the donations, but like the signs going up and then what would constitute a sign. And so Stephen and I met, we pulled some other school advertising policies and tried to put one together that really didn't tie us into a lot of things, but that at least we have, hey, this is how the policy would be approved. The content that could go up, where would we place advertisements depending on the donation size of it. And then that monitoring and compliance piece. And so we really wanted to have something in place where it's just not any person saying, like, hey, I'll give you a 10% discount if you put my sign up. That's not what we're really looking for. We're really looking for larger businesses to help offset the operations, but also maybe somebody wants to donate a fence and okay, well, what would we be willing to do? And so that's kind of what this policy, I did share it with our administrators as well, because I wanted them to be aware of that and kind of see what their thoughts were. And then I wanted your all's input as well, so that we could maybe have something in place and hopefully start getting a large.
We have a form for proposals. That says it, right? Like businesses must submit a detailed proposal, including content. So if we already have like a pre-made form for them to fill out, I think that would streamline it.
And so part of us is piggybacking on something Ms. Marissa and Ryan are working on too. We needed a structure. Like we need the big capital donation. And this gives our team a structure by which to get it. That we didn't have before. So I want to shout out the work that Ryan did. I'm looking at a proposal that he kind of wrote, like how we would structure this. A ton of work. I can tell, just a ton of legwork in it. But the policy you guys are going to vote on, that allows us to go forward.
I apologize. How do I?
It was emailed.
It's also in board docs.
Docs.
I need to get you that. Okay.
I personally love the idea of having a standardized way. Just being in the trenches of courting donors, my biggest concern is just kind of sometimes you're on a time frame. And I was looking that they need admin approval. Is there some place we could like streamline if an ad or a sponsor meets like X, Y, and Z criteria, they can kind of be blanketly approved? Because if you're courting a donor, I just don't want to like, now, hold on, we just need to approve this back and forth. Obviously, we'll approve their ad and their copy and make sure it's appropriate. But I just definitely want to make sure we're streamlining that as well.
Sarah, I would I see where you're coming from, but I kind of like the natural delay there, because what I don't want to see is I don't want to necessarily get into impulse have to do the deal now. I think that gets messy quickly. And I think if we have that natural delay, it allows us to think and make sure that A, the company is vetted, B, it meets what we're trying to do. You know, I don't want to turn schools into billboards. We work really hard to make beautiful learning environment. So I see where you're coming from, but I really kind of like the delay that court.
And I think too, like if you're courting someone, I would hope that you've already kind of talked through that. Like it wouldn't just be a last minute thing, but like you and I or whoever it is have a conversation, or at least with the administrators to say, hey, I've been talking to this business and really want to pursue them, and what are we looking for? What do we need? Those kind of things before we just start, because just listening, like I said, last year for the PTO, I mean, of course, we had several businesses just randomly coming up. But really, while I appreciate that, it wasn't really things that, would warrant a banner for or something like that. So if we didn't have that buffer in place, I would be afraid that somebody would say, oh yeah, go ahead. And then I'm like, well, what's the benefit to the school? Because I don't want to sound ugly. I appreciate all of our donors, but there has to be a benefit to us to be able to do that as a school and as a business. So yeah, I get what you're saying, but I would hope that we would already kind of start having those conversations, because what we're talking about is those large donations. We're talking about those businesses that want to come in and give $10,000 for something.
Right. This would not be for someone like paying for a booth at Arts Fest or something, right?
Yeah,
That would still be allowed to happen. Yeah.
But the policy is saying like things like events and sponsorships, so that's why I brought it up.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we should also couple it with like a master spreadsheet, which would be an easy way to keep everybody informed, so that we're not duplicating like ways that we're contacting the same sponsor of multiple groups or organizations. So if we could do some sort of large shareable Google Docs, however you guys want to approach that, so that you can see who's being courted. We can have those conversations in advance, and then we're not duplicating, interest on that.
Right. So that's already created, Sarah. I've already shared that with PTO and our admin, because one of the things we ran into was teachers were asking, or staff members were asking businesses, and then PTO was asking businesses. Yeah. So this summer, I had already created a Google Doc. Actually, not a Google Doc. Sorry, Stephen. Shared that link out. So that's just something we'll probably, if there's more people looking, so like if your business, like if your committee's wanting to do that, that you would have that link. So we do already have that in place because of that very reason. When I met with PTO this summer, that was one of the things that they had requested, so that we all kind of know who's supporting each other.
But just for clarity, because I know the PTO is on and they're probably very interested in this. So this is all sponsorships. So all events.
I think that's important. And we talked about last year was the year of process. This is an extension of that process that
Never go.
we've been trying to organize how we run the business to make it sustainable for all. That's what it's really defining that. We never want to say no to a donor, but quantifying the impact and quantifying for that.
But they're, along with the sample proposal for them, right, to make that process super easy, link it to the Excel sheet at the top. Here it is. So if people are looking, oh, they're not here, then they can grab it and do it. But could we potentially have even some samples of like, what does that banner look like? Who's our vendor for those banners? I'm sure you already have that process, right? Like we're already thinking through that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can propose that for us.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
streamline that.
I mean, like, yeah. So that when Kate's gonna give us a $17,000 donation.
Obviously.
And I can put Kate's face on our school fence, we know who's doing all. And then whoever we're using for the banners, maybe because they're doing all the banners for us, they can have a banner set.
I think it'd be a great idea to have a point person too, instead of it saying admin, if somebody wants to take that up as a point person, so everybody knows this is who you contact for design approval. I think that'd be great to add into the policy.
So I'm gonna kind of throw Stephen under the bus. That's gonna kind of be him, as the operational person.
And
Where,
consult with the principal.
right, so that's not the thing. I never want either one of my principals to feel like that I've always told them, you run your building, you run your campus. So it's definitely something that I want them to be aware of and brought in on, but I think Stephen will be the main contact. And that's why it says ED or designee. So if I don't move on it fast enough, don't worry, Stephen, they'll make sure that I do. But, and when it comes to money, I'm probably gonna move pretty fast. But, so that he would be that person, because we talked about that streamlining the banners, that we don't want just anything, like, we don't want it to look gaudy. Like, we really want it to look nice. And if we decide to put it up the drive line by the soccer fields, then they're going to get uniform and, hey, this is how much the banner costs. And then, get you a banner. And so he's going to be that point person on that part of
it.
I know, like, my daughter just graduated from Dr. Phillips and I did a lot of fundraising for them. The program she was in, but their kings of their fundraising was their theater department. They would sell out those ads and programs for like thousands and thousands of dollars, and they had very established processes and lists that they would ask every year. And one of the protocols they had was very similar to what you're talking about. Is technically you were not supposed to contact a major corporation. Like, I mean, they're right next to Universal Studios or, Publix, without basically getting approval from a centralized person in school, because they might have been tapped out on theater. So like you had all of them, and there's sports and and oftentimes, and this will come in time too. You'll find that you have those regular donors, but like the people that have those relationship with those donors cycle in it, they age out of the school, their kids move on or whatever. So building that, I think you've been working on that too. Building that database of givers, like anyone who has ever given any money to the school should live in a kind of a database that then when, new parents, new teachers. So I think a policy is really important, and also from a logistical standpoint, that you don't have time. Who are good for money.
Yeah. Well, and so we did, so to get to this, of course, it was a lot more extensive. We pulled surrounding OCPS high school fundraising policies. Now they went into depth, like if you're on a club, say the football team or whatever, what would it be to have this size billboard out on the football field? And then, so they were really into that part of it too, selling just the billboards, which you can do that on a football field. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so we pulled some of the language from theirs into this one. And it doesn't mean that this isn't going to grow. Like we may say this policy didn't work, we're going to change it, but we felt like we need to have something to start.
Yeah.
I don't have any more issues with it. I just wanted the sample, but I don't feel like I need to see the sample as long as we have something that makes the process even. Any other discussion? Do I have a motion?
A motion to approve the school advertising policy with the addition of the.
All those in favor? Right. Any opposed?
Awesome. I did leave off a very important person, Miss Alicia. Are you on here? I forgot to let her share her update.
I am.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's okay. Hi, everybody. So we're collecting contracts back from new staff. We've been ensuring that everybody has been signing our policy manuals, and we are down to the last two, and they are newer, so that feels pretty good. I completed the October roster report for the 20th that goes into Charter's Link, and that one builds into a bigger annual report that's due in early November. So happy to have that done with all the new staff and certification information and all of that on there. Um, Updating info for the fall visit that's coming from the district. We have a couple employees who are teachers who have completed their ESOL training, so we'll be updating the list that's on the website soon. Speaking of the website, I've been talking with Stephen. We're going to work on kind of fleshing out the HR website soon with some more information so that when somebody's interested in working for us, they can get on and really pull information, benefits, all of that stuff. It's right there for them so that that is smoother for everyone. Let's see, we are in the process of hiring a teacher for the Osceola classroom, which is exciting, and she's coming to us with Montessori certification, which is really cool. And I think that is about it for my update. Yeah. So
We were looking for a Spanish teacher. I think
we did. Yes, we filled the Spanish teacher position.
I hear he's awesome. My kids give him a 10 out of
Well, when we came through, we watched him teach, and I felt like I needed to stay in it. Like he had him up moving and using Spanish words for his movements. I'm like, I just need to stay here.
On the tour, Eileen and I tell people that, when they ask about enrichments, that we realize no one is actually going to learn Spanish in 40 minutes once every 5 or 7 days. But ever since we hired John, we're like, oh, maybe they actually will. He's got them all following. He only speaks to them in Spanish, and he's got them all following directions and turning and rolling and hands up, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I was just going to add that Ileana, who was covering the class for us, thank you, Ileana, for doing that. We really appreciate you for sticking it out with us for so long. But as she said, the kids are just captivated by John, so that's really wonderful, exciting.
And he's put together some proposals for clubs and after school stuff as well. So we'll be expanding his reach.
Yeah, I'm excited about the club. They're going to have a baton club. And I think I'm going to be in it.
We're gonna have a baton club that leads our presence at the MLK Day Parade in January.
Aw.
I need to be a part of that.
That's so fun.
Majorette now.
No, I thought somebody else was. Okay, sorry.
A diamond studded. I feel like that's right up there.
I think that's out of our budget. How about cubic zirconia?
It'll definitely be
Good. Yeah.
bedazzling one for you.
Yeah. Workers' comp, I'm sure.
Oh, no.
Dazzle the boot later.
There we go. There we go. I think that's all for us.
All right. Excellent. Okay. So next up on our agenda is Karen with the PTO update.
Hey.
Hey, Karen,
All
how's it
right.
going?
It's good. It's been productive. So National Arts and Education Week, we celebrated it. We sold a little bit. We created some, and it did create a small opportunity for fundraising. We raised a little under 500, and so we split that between the two music programs between both campuses, just to give them a little bit of a nudge. Like Kathy shared, fall feasts have been offered, luncheons have been had for both campuses. Both of our hospitality chairs are exceptional. I think one of them might do this professionally, and it shows. The other is talented and creative and amazing. And so I'm hopeful that staff and teachers enjoyed a little bit of nurturance from us. Let's see, our Thespians troupe hosted the Halloween movie night and costume parade this past Friday. It was standing room only, which was kind of cool. Our costume parade ended up being kids just, meandering. It wasn't really a parade, but it was still a lot of fun. I think that they raised, so far I've gotten the cash count, and I think it was like 331, I think in profit, and then we still have Square. So they made a little bit, and it's awesome. And the students did exceptionally well at following. Lily is amazing. She guides them so beautifully, and they follow her lead. But they did fantastic. And they were young to old and staffed the doors so that our littles didn't leave. And anyway, it was great. We had the Adams family and then the little costume meandering. And we did trick-or-treating with non-sugary stuff. And a few toys, stickers, tattoos, things like that, on the porch. And then off the littles went, and then we did the second feature, which was Nightmare Before Christmas. And then there was, standing ovation at the end. So that was amazing. And we're always really happy to support the students and try and rally student organizations and clubs and groups to do things. So fun. We do have Fall Fest coming up. It is November 8th. It is at Amber Brook Farms, and we're excited to host it there. Stay tuned for both the volunteer sign up, because we do need help to make this happen, as well as more information. Tickets are live. You absolutely can buy yours in advance. I would encourage that. And you can buy them at the door as well. We have some fun stuff planned there. And then Book Fair is my last big thing. Book Fair, the online version of Book Fair has begun. All of the profits that we make go toward teacher professional development. And so Christmas gifts, birthday gifts, easy reading, whatever, bedtime reading. Please lean in if you are so inclined. So online currently available. The in-person book fair will be in the NPR from November 10th to the 14th. We are going to try and make sure that teacher wish lists are handled a little bit more effectively this year. We were new to it last year. And most of that is actually online this go around. And then they'll be shipped free at the end of the fair to teachers. So for anyone that wants to support classrooms or our book bus, we'll definitely have opportunity for that. So stay tuned. And we're also going to need volunteers for that as well. So lots of opportunities. Upcoming events, we have Morning Joe with Dr. John coming on the 3rd at 8:30 over at the secondary campus cafeteria. We've got our next PTO meeting on the 4th at 9 a.m. and it's virtual only. Of course, we have our gardening days, the second Saturday and the fourth Sundays of the month. And then keep Winterfest on the calendar. If you have a creative or interested student, this is the Student Maker Market. And we're hoping that I'm pretty sure we'll have Safety Patrol. I think we'll have Robotics Club. Any other groups that want to fundraise are welcome. This is the place where we want our students to shine and, show what they can do, both individually and collectively. So yeah, join us. We're happy to have all parents. Thanks.
Thank you, Karen. Okay, next up, we'll have our finance update. I see.
The last financials we received are the August financials, and Lily has those with her. Here's a little bit of an update. That's a long time ago now. But we actually did receive September financials in draft form over today, and those will be available for discussion next time. We'll be talking about those at the finance committee meeting next week.
So, hello everyone, can everyone hear me? Okay. So yeah, I get to show August, which apparently it's excitingly boring. So we ended the month of August with a revenue of $1 million, and expenses at 672. So we had a surplus of 247,000 for the month. One of the major themes in August is August 30th, the first payment for the teachers for the school year of 526, so you would see a little bit of a difference from July to August, but then in September, it's gonna be a bigger difference because now we're counting just that last, payroll. The other thing was in instructional supplies. We paid a lot of that from July purchases that were done, but then we were also input, because now Amazon is invoicing instead of paying just right away. So a lot of the purchases done in July for the school year were in August. So you see, like a $9,000 difference there. Same thing with like the ESC teachers. Also August 30 is when we start paying our TAs. So you see that increase there. And we also did a lot of the construction payments in the month of August, but in September, we've gotten a lot of that reimbursement. Up to date, we have gotten 60,000 back out of 71,000 that we paid for construction. So we still have a little bit more to cover them. We're still gonna have a little bit left because we had in the bond about 74, 75. So we're gonna have some left over that we can use to get reimbursed for some furniture for the upper. But other thing, we have a total cash balance of $2.2 million. That does not mean we get to buy laptops for everyone.
Man.
That includes our operating accounts, our from our main operating account and our CASA account and our saving. And then in our bond cash balance, we have 2.5 million. We are at a ratio for the bond, debt service ratio of 1.2, where we're supposed to be between 1.1 to 1. And we are also at a 92 days cash on hand with a 19%. When we look at how much we brought in for CASA for the month of August, it was 102,000 in tuition. For base, we brought in 40,000, and parent supply fees was 40,000. So actually that is pretty good compared to last year and even the previous.
What is, do you have the percentage that we have spent for our total budget so far?
If I'm reading this correctly, it's 79%. That also has to do something.
I know we front load a lot, but
So the
That
way
would be-
SFS does a report,
that wouldn't be instruction.
No.
That wouldn't.
right, they do it by line item, by
Yeah.
code of what percentage. So when we meet as a committee, we look at
Each one.
each line
Yeah.
to say, are we projecting where we should be?
Right.
And why is it high or low?
Mhm.
I don't know, do they do it overall?
You know, they may at the bottom of the page. But
Yeah, I mean, you could.
the truth is, so many of our expenses and revenues come in big slugs throughout the year.
Right.
So we get our FTEs all at once, and we get them again, and the expenses are the same way. Unfortunately, in the September financials that we just saw in draft form for the first time today, some of the things we did see were things that are paid on a quarterly basis.
Oh,
So
that
we're
makes
seeing them
sense.
for the first time, like our caterer for school lunches. We get paid for the last 2 months, and there's a big chunk coming out this time. So, you know, these financials show a good, cash balance, and that will continue on a cash basis. We're doing just fine, but it does kind of fluctuate throughout the year. You have to look at it big picture. Unfortunately, we all know, I mean, enrollment's down everywhere. The state of Florida did this to every public school.
Yeah.
I don't think our enrollment is down on a percentage basis.
Oh, no, it's not even
Ours
close.
is,
It's not even close.
but it's still hitting us.
Yeah.
And even at the other campus where we feel like we're always got waiting lists all the time, it's never a problem. We're still off a few students.
Right.
I mean, it's less than 20, but so every one of those students has hundreds of dollars of monthly FTEs that we don't have.
Yeah.
And this campus is, it's got its challenges from an enrollment standpoint. So enrollment is, it's going to result in some conversations we're going to have. There is a budget amendment coming. We always, I think, maybe every year do a mid-year budget amendment. This year, it's going to have some conversation about shortfalls that we don't always have because of those enrollment challenges. We have cash in the bank, we're fine.
Right.
And we can afford what we need to. But on a going forward basis, when we look at out years, if we keep doing what we're doing this year, we can't keep doing it. We got to do something. That's going to come up. But we've got this committee meeting coming up, and we'll talk about the September financials and come back to the next board meeting with any thoughts that we might have. And fortunately, some of these quarterly kinds of things did hit in September. That'll be something that's reported next month. We just didn't even see those even in draft form until today. So timing is a great conversation. See you next month.
Well, actually, looking at their formula, I think we have 79% to go. So, which sounds about right.
That sounds better.
Yeah. I read it backwards. So,
Well, I've in my mind turned it around because I was like, there's no way.
So
they are doing it. So we're used to seeing from Building Hope to show us how much of the budget we've spent. And these guys reported how much is remaining.
So it's 79% remaining. So
That makes sense.
So we're on the right track.
That's super helpful for the operations side of it. I know what my cash I'm going to need for projects and stuff. So the fact that Lily can report that to me on a line item basis is a huge deal.
Yeah, like honestly, the overall, I mean, we do want to look at the overall, but it's those line items that we really want to check because when we go and do the budget amendments, that's what we're going to be looking at to be amend those.
I did want to ask, I mean, I don't know if it was the last board meeting or the board meeting before, there was some stress around ACs and yeah, I just want to like close the loop on that because I know like things like that can be like large expenses that come out of nowhere.
So I'm going to echo what Kevin said. Of the same concerns that I had, but we're fine. If we had something catastrophic happen, we have the resources to deal with that. We did really well this year with no hurricanes.
Yes, I did think about that.
So I'm very thankful for that.
It's only October 21st.
I know we have to make you feel like November.
I feel like we're about there.
We're also kind of being proactive in some of our maintenance to try and extend the life there, knowing that there was a challenge with some enrollment, and try to extend some of those projects out into.
So what popped up a month or two ago was remedied with not a huge expense, what I'm hearing.
We lost a compressor in one of the upstairs classrooms at. We expect that we will lose other compressors by the ages of the air conditioning. Haven't yet. And I feel like we're in a fairly decent position if we can do it.
But if we had to say take out whole unit section, that we would have to have a conversation. Like we're talking hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, that's what I have heard.
So Stephen shared with us last school year kind of a life expectancy. So I think that's something we're going to roll into our budget conversations with the finance committee is start doing a 1-year plan, but also like a 5-year plan. Where do we project ourselves in 5 years with the cost of living going up and then looking at our enrollment? Because while we may only be down 21 overall on the budget, we're really down more than that. If we look at the upper L class, we're down 55 kids. If we added those 55, so you're talking $450,000. That's almost $500,000 that we're missing out on revenue this year. Because our plan was, we're going to meet the 935 and then exceed that and have a conversation in October, November about having extra money. And we're not. And so I think that's what we got to sit down as a finance committee and really start digging into what is our 5-year plan on a budget and what does that look like and how do we sustain all of the things that we know that's coming up that was on the list that Stephen shared last year.
Budget before we begin the school year. provided for over $400,000 being moved into a reserve for capital needs. And that was going to be carried over year after year. We would continue to contribute to it. That's not going to happen because of enrollment. And, you know, we can solve that in different ways, but we do need to have some plan. You know, this is a short-term thing. Maybe it is short-term. Deal with it for a year, but over the long haul, we have a way to build those reserves. Because that's very expensive area without planning for that for a period of time. So it's a conversation we'll be having. 5 years is important. 10 years is important. You know, look at that.
Well, we're also gonna be, meeting every month to do kind of an audit of each month's financials, because that is one of the things stressed about is don't wait till the end of the year. So not saying that we didn't want to do that before or that we lacked in it. It's for the last 2 years, we've been kind of in, you know, trying to get everything on track and lined up. So, but I think now we are in a good place to actually do that. And also with that said, we did meet on September 30 to talk about the audit financials. So you know, I figured I'd bring that up, which, you know, went pretty well. And I don't know if Kevin wanted to say anything about that. Cared about that.
We accepted our audit. It took a lot of work, but we got it done. One of the things that we're talking about doing is the audit selection process. We have used the same auditor for years. It's gone fine. We'd be happy to continue using the same auditor, but it's probably good practice to occasionally put out to bid your auditor's services. So by statute, we're required to follow a certain auditor selection committee process whereby you choose a committee to establish the criteria by which you choose your auditor, do a solicitation, to advertise thing, typical auditors bid on it, and you apply those criteria and choose your auditor. The same auditor were to bid and did the best, we would choose them again. Opposed to doing that. In order to do an auditor selection, you have to establish a committee that's made up of folks that isn't staff. So Lily and Heather couldn't be on that committee. It has to involve at least one of the board members. It has to involve at least 3 people. There's a variety of these statutory things. Your finance committee does meet the criteria to be your auditor selection committee. So probably the board will be willing to appoint the same human beings that are the finance committee, also the audit selection committee. And that at the next month's board meeting, that'll be an agenda item for us to consider. Me and Aaron and Stacy would probably be part of that committee. Anyone else that's interested in it could also be part of that committee. That'll be on your upcoming agenda. The audit itself, as you all know, we did approve that. Unmodified opinion, it's a good audit. Pretty good there. We have some things to work out between the auditor and the bookkeepers, but that's all I think it is. I think everything matches up. The auditor was ultimately satisfied with our.
Any other questions?
No.
Thank you.
I did leave off one little announcement. When Karen mentioned the coffee with Dr. John, we had a Peace Corner Cafe, the elementary campus, I think 2 weeks ago. It wasn't the best attended, but those that did show up, it was so beneficial. They shared kind of why someone said they drove 80 miles to come to school. Like it was some kind of crazy, it took her forever to get there kind of thing, and those whys. And so talking through that, listening to them, why do you bring your kid here? What do you see that we need to improve on? And then they asked us questions. So we had all of our mental health people there, admin team was there, back office was there, just listening, and they got to ask us questions about what's happening in the school. So I say all that to say, I really hope the next one, we're going to have one in the spring, that more people come out for that. Because I think it was just a circle that we were able to talk and just kind of hear what's happening, but then also they got to hear from us that question.
All right. Okay, so next up, we're going to have our committee updates. So
Did you want, there's a board docs.
Oh,
thing.
there is a board docs thing. I'm trying to do two things at once here. So we just wanted to give a quick update about the board docs migration. So we did sign the contract, we paid the invoice. We didn't get any discount because we wouldn't sign up on a multi-year, because we decided we're gonna implement the change, and then we're going to start a review to see if there's any competitors that could be cheaper in the long run and still give us what we need with the security and the accessibility. So Stephen has graciously taken on the dealing with Diligent and getting that lined up for us. So they're working through that now. I know we got the contract in by the skin of our teeth. So it'll probably, do they have a timeline of when they'll switch us over?
About 2 months.
About 2 months
And
coming.
we review all the data and make sure that it goes as smooth as we want it to.
So in the new year, we will have a new Diligent instance that we will introduce you all to. So, yep. So that is done and in progress as far as that migration goes. Okay. So now we've got committee updates. I'm keeping our board goals in there just for reference. I don't know if we have any updates there. But would anyone like to go first for the committee update? I know Sarah had something she wanted to talk about, right?
I can talk because we're in the same.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so a few things. We kicked off the development committee, and Sarah's on that committee, Ryan's on that committee, Mr. Steven joins the committee. There's like about 7 or 8 people on the committee, and we've really tried to, with the increased participation, get more done. Just to kind of remind everybody for our 2026 school year, our fundraising for annual giving and around this committee is for enrichments. And so, we talked about the Spanish teacher, we talked about art, we talked about all the cool things that we're doing for the kids while they're in class. That's really our focus, just to kind of make sure we're communicating that. So, really the larger group met and kind of focused in on 3 areas of where they wanted to flesh out some proposals of where we wanted to potentially spend our time. So one of the things that we are looking into, and I'll share, one of them is a better collaboration with the PTO in taking momentum from enrichments for annual giving and utilizing SpringFest. And this is something that I've already socialized with John and Kathy, and they've given me input, and we need to talk some more about logistically how it would work. But it would, in a nutshell, it would be utilizing each classroom to have a piece or an experience to raffle off that will culminate at SpringFest. So it'd be a way to leverage the classroom communities, because especially on the primary and elementary campus, there is already a network of communication with a room parent. So be able to raise raffle money that would help the classroom, as well as half would go to enrichments. So a little bit more to flesh out there, just hearing the inputs from John and Kathy. We still feel like that's a lot of potential, and apparently history is coming full circle, because I think we did something similar before that I didn't know about. But so more to come there, but that's one area that we feel good about. We alluded to Ryan's efforts. So Ryan took the kind of business sponsorships and created a really nice, we call it proof of concept document. And so we were on the call earlier last week going through like what that looks like. And so it's in my inbox to read again, but I'm sure we'll have more to share. And it dovetails into that policy that we talked about tonight. And then the third heavy lift is Sarah submitted a proposal around a very ambitious goal of golf and gala. The committee hasn't been able to kind of talk in detail about it yet. But Sarah, if you wanted to share a bit, I can turn it over to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, so the purpose of the and the golf tournament and the gala would be just to court larger donors. First of all, like as a thank you to our existing donors and to keep cultivating their relationship, but to kind of go after bigger fish, so to speak. So the tournament would be on Saturday, February 21st. It would be a shotgun style start at 8 a.m. and that would cultivate with a luncheon where we would do awards. But the night before would be a gala and pairing party. So kind of raise awareness for people who may not be golfers. That would be it. We did put together a document for you all to review so you can look at it. Because it is such a large undertaking, though, we really would like to only move forward if we have the board's full support. So our goal would be to have every board member, if we all want to move forward with this idea, to pledge to bring one or two people to this event that we could kind of cultivate those relationships, because we're not really looking at this as another event for IMO families. Obviously, they're welcome to join. We love that. But we really want to bring in those outside parties and cultivate long-term donor relationships. So if you guys think that's something you want to get involved with, if you have people, kind of contact your Rolodex. That's something that we are looking to move forward with that.
So Sarah, I'll just like put my board hat on. Like I'm like eager to like use my contacts. I guess I'm concerned about the seed money of the down payments and stuff needed to do an event like this. And so that's not, I guess I think that's probably something we need to express of like what's doable this year.
At the purpose of the first round of donors, the seed money, or?
Yeah, so the golf would be funded by the individual players, and then the gala, we would probably only want to go forward if we have X amount of people registered, so we can mitigate the cost. But the whole purpose is to raise at minimum of $20,000 because we do want to go after those larger sponsors, and hopefully the cost of the whole event could be paid for by sponsors, and then the registration fees could all just be pure profit to go back towards what is needed most.
So you're saying like you would the group would make sure that we have the funds already secured before we would book anything. Is that what
Yes, no money is due until I think 30 days before the tournament.
Okay.
So it does give
Worst
us,
case scenario, you could cancel.
yeah, exactly. Hopefully, though, we'll be able to kind of use our contacts and get that player registration. The course can hold up to 130 participants. So I know that it sounds like a lot, but I think if we had 80, that would be enough to have a successful event, just because we really want to bring interest to local parties about how wonderful our school is. At the gala, we had the idea to showcase a little bit from thespians, a little bit from show choir, and the culinary club could even do the desserts or like a little welcome coffee and pastries. So we want to take the opportunity to sprinkle in just how wonderful our school is throughout the whole event.
Have you already met with Stony Brook on this?
I have. They're really wonderful. And we like that they're close. We looked at several courses, but this is the best deal, the closest by to cultivate the local relationships.
Is the intention that the same people go to the gala and then the next day they all golf together? It's like a 2-day commitment?
Yeah, so I mean, you don't have to. We're going to offer one price for just the tournament, and then we'll do a one price for a tournament and gala, and then a gala price only. So kind of like a package deal if you want to do both, and then you can do the other ones a la carte. So like, let's just say the wife really loves golf and the husband loves to get dressed up for the gala. They could do
I love
that
it. That's
together. Yeah, and then just the wife could go golfing or whatever version of that. So I think it would be fun. We've lost some of the other big galas and the farm to table, and we've been looking for a way to get our big fish. And this could be something, it's a whole world. We went golfing at Stony Brook to check it out, and it was really beautiful course. If you've never been there, it was a really nice day.
The facilities, I have a friend who lives in the area. They've really revamped the facilities in the last year or two. So, question for you, if you talk to them, sometimes they don't allow outside food. Are they okay with us providing outside food from our culinary department?
They are okay with that for dessert and breakfast. They wanted to obviously cater the main meal, but they said, okay, it's a dessert. I guess there's not a lot of golf tournaments in February, so people were being very lenient with us. And they said that that was fine as long as we got the main meal for with them, like the luncheon for after.
Like,
So we don't do the golf.
Yeah, nobody wants to golf in August.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, and that kind of dovetails nicely with our National Arts and Education Week and Spring Fest. So just kind of a nice, like, oh, here's some other things if you want to learn more about our school. But if every board member can bring along one or two big name people and they can bring their friends and so on and so forth.
I don't doubt that we probably, with the size that we are now, have like some really savvy event planners. But
Mhm.
memory serves me, galas and things in the past broke. Again, we were a much smaller community, so we have bigger, footprint to draw from, but it was just, sometimes it's not even. So just to be cautious.
well, I think the cost here, we weren't paying $150 for a gala ticket. And I know, like, compared to other schools that do galas, that's probably a similar price range to end up making it into a fundraiser. If you're gonna just do a $75 ticket,
Yeah.
then it's not.
There's no.
Yeah, so I do like the fact that it is a higher dollar ticket because I think that would, is the golf price was $99, so we're charging $200, so that's $100 surplus on the golf. Is that what I'm reading, Sarah?
Yep, $99 for golf club or golf rental, bucket, playing, and the luncheon, which was really good deal. So that's the luncheon included in that. And I agree. We wanted to feel like a luxury thing. Like this isn't just, gymnasium type of event. This is exclusive. This is a weekend out. Choose which parts you want. But having the bigger price ticket, I think, is going to attract a different level of
Cash
donor. Is
bar.
our thought process.
More people drink, the more they give.
Yes,
That's
yes.
the rule of
And
fundraising.
we're, on Friday we can do some like fun little raffles and have little contests like longest to drive, closest to the hole, fun little things. And there's this, I don't know, I'm not a golfer, obviously, but I'm learning about it. There's these things called mulligans. So you can sell mulligan balloons for $20. And just like there's ways to kind of make little fun things throughout the event.
And what was it? There's a chosen date already?
Yeah. Yeah, we were looking at the weekend of February 20th and 21st. 21st for the tournament.
The weekend right before Spring Fest?
Yeah. I mean, there's stuff going on all the time. And then the weekend before that's like Valentine's. And then we get into spring break. And then it gets too hot and prices go up. So.
Well, and I think that this is almost something that you're trying to like sell outside of our school.
Right,
If we're selling it. But this seems like more, this is like, how do we increase ticket sales outside? So what incentive, what program, what are we doing to look at who's selling tickets? How are we getting to work, right? Like, what's my quota? What's your quota, right? Like, what do we got to get so that we're meeting that goal of selling the tickets off, right? Like, even if I have to bring all my friends, I'll just do that because why not? We like to eat all together, so that sounds fun.
Right? I think that could be perfect.
You can put me down for 20.
All right, I'm penciling in you in.
I think if we knew the math of the break even of how many tickets we would have to, eyes wide open, we would have to sell. So there is a date of, okay, we know this is our goal and we've got to be able to sell this many by this date for us to move on. I think that would be key.
Yeah, I think it's a nice way to start courting those relationships. And if the board can be there schmoozing and building our Rolodex so we have those advertisers. So if we have a fun, inspiring project that we want to bring to our specific donor, they already feel really nice about our school.
I like this idea. I think this is definitely something we've missed. We talked about bringing back the gala a couple years ago and we really, but I like this idea because of the combo with the golf, actually. I think you can get more people. Real Life does this really well. I know the person who runs that. I can grab her and get her brain on what she's doing to get sponsorships because they do it every single year.
Oh, yeah. We would love that contact information. Or if you want to maybe put us on a call or just do some recon, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I spoke to Clark Montessori High School, I went up there, they do it every year. And so I asked them, like, who do you target besides businesses? They also target their alumni.
Yeah.
I know ours is newer, you know, but they try to encourage them to come back. And, you know, I think maybe even not this year, but in a couple of years, that may be something we could start doing. To hopefully they'll all
Well,
get
our
it.
alumni family.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right? So that's,
Yeah.
I feel like, where we could go too. We have, I don't know how far back does our email list go?
I think pretty far because
Yeah.
we emailed every one of them, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I just, in case they got-
If you had any babies lately.
There's a PR value to this too. One of the things, I met with Nicole from a PTO on Friday. And one of the things she said was, we have to go back out and introduce ourselves again. And we were very lucky for a long time. We didn't have to do that. So if you can do it where it makes money
Mm-hmm.
and introduce yourself to your community again, I think that is a win as all of this comes together 6 months, years into the future. I think that would be wonderful.
And create FOMO on social.
Yeah,
That people absolutely participate next year if they didn't do it.
Right? I love that. And if we like it, if it's a success, this could just be a very easy rinse, wash, and repeat, which is not too labor intensive for us, except for courting sponsorship and networking. But like, we're not going to be like sweating in the heat, you know, like they'll set it up for us, which, you know, it's nice. I've lugged enough tables to know I don't really love doing that.
When we spoke to the lady from Miami, I think she was from here. Do you remember that conversation?
Mm-hmm.
They had done something like that too, but she was like,
that lady.
I can't think of her name, but she was over at Montessori school.
US, yeah.
Yeah.
US.
But she knew this area and she was like, you should be able to get like sponsorships on anything in this area.
Yeah.
That's so much.
Sarah, you're welcome to pick my mom's brain as well. She was the president of my school board and used to run this event. So
Oh, it
I
runs
can
in the
set you up with her.
family, huh? Thank you.
Just one question. The golf course that's the closest to us, did anybody touch base with them?
Yes, Forest Lake. They did not have any interest in partnering with us. I guess they went out of business, and the city of Ocoee has acquired them. And Karen from the PTO reached out to them last year, and no response. And she tried to contact them this year, and no response. So they just aren't interested in partnering with us right now. I think they're just in the middle of restructuring.
Well, I think Stony Brook's a good bet because they are trying to build, because they just reopened within the last year or something. So they are trying to probably build their own pool too and get more people in there golfing more often. So I see that as like a, you know, benefit to both parties.
And they have a really beautiful event space. I've toured a couple of the other golf courses, and their like dining room and event space was not as nice. It was a better deal, but that's kind of not what we wanted. So I thought, like, for the price, for the location, that really was one of the better options.
If we do it, we should consider a multi-year deal with them. So it won't be easy February.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Oh, Kevin, there with a win. That's a great idea.
Wow. That's a really good idea. Well, and then you're really showing that we're going to be doing it moving forward. So we're all in the heading. Yeah. Check my calendar. That would be nice.
Yeah.
I say go for it, Sarah.
Yeah,
let's
okay.
roll with
I agree. I think, you know, to Karen's point, I think we have to keep our eye on making sure we make money and making sure we're keep focused on what's break even and what we need to bring in. Because we're not gonna put any stress on the school.
No.
Yep.
No. the whole point is hopefully, get some big donors, right? Like if you look, we had a tiered pricing list. If you look at the sheet, so hopefully we'll meet or exceed that goal. And then you can just everyone could give us feedback offline if you want to send emails, if you like that pricing list for sponsorships. If you want to change anything, we're open to that. This is just a rough outline.
Yeah, nice job.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for all that work.
Oh my gosh, my
Congrats
team is
to you.
amazing. Karen, Amanda, Vanessa, everybody. We've been very busy, so we've got a great team helping out.
That's great. That's great. One other update, we do have a grant that we're working, Stephen, myself, and Amber Boaz. So the Florida Wildflower Foundation, I have a connection at my work. And so we're coming on campus to see the needs here. I mean, we've been in discussion of what our preliminary thoughts are, but their grant is around plant material and installation from the foundation, and it could be something that happens every year. So more to come there, but that is underway.
And speaking of grants, I have a great opportunity for someone, if anyone is interested in running a committee. My bandwidth has now decreased with the new job. So I am struggling to find time to run the grant writing committee. So if anyone, I don't know, Karen or Simon or or new board members, Sarah, it sounds like you're going to be pretty tied up with the with the golf outing. But yeah, no pressure, but maybe think about it. And if either of you, or does it have to be a current board member? No, Ryan's busy with the development committee too. But yeah, if anyone is drawn to wanting to run that one, it is definitely not being run right now. And yes, we could use some help getting that going again. So that is my update for the grant writing.
That I actually brought a proposal when I came for my interview and stuff. We talked about recruitment, marketing, PR, for what I wrote about enrollment and engagement board committee. If you guys want to read it, I can hand it out.
Cool.
Sorry I didn't send it in advance. I was kind of going by the seat of my pants.
Ooh, fancy.
I know it's like I can email it around as well. What we found out when Heather put her meeting together is we've got phenomenal talent like in our school community. And I started working with Suzanne Benham. She's a high school parent, and she was a professional school marketer for a private school in Illinois. She just brings so much knowledge and examples and things that she's tried. And the school was even like a similar size to ours and whatnot. So there's different things that we can work on, and obviously we work closely with Heather and Stephen, and make sure we're all on the same page. But like the initial focus would be on coming up with pieces that really showcase value proposition of the high. In particular, recent grad story, like just at the Halloween thing, I met Dylan, who's at UF, he's pre-med, he was delightful. And like, what a great, I said, can we write up a story about you and your experience? He was at IMO from 6th grade on. And I think just building out social media pieces and maybe even little videos to really try to tell that high school story, to maybe close the gap by January when everyone's getting really annoyed and like, is there anything else out there? We could have some, low cost marketing. There's also a Google grant that we can get as a nonprofit. Theory gives you $10,000 a month to market. In practice, it's not that much, but so that would be a focus.
How is this different than the marketing?
I mean, basically, it's semantics.
You rebranded it.
Well, I guess I thought, I guess it could be. I was just trying to come up with sort of like conceptually a broader focus, because I think people, especially in the education space, don't want to feel that they're being. Yeah, they want to feel that they are being engaged, that they are, so I steered away from that language. Just to try to make it a little bit more sincere, like it's storytelling. It's promoting, like what you said, when you bring people, you don't actually have to sell the product, really shining the light on what is. It's not really building out, like marketing can get a little bit more like there's a little more of a handed approach, so that's why I steered away.
And I like how you.
See, I'm marketing.
Marketing.
Yes, exactly.
Well, and I like how you talked about bringing the committee of engaging all the parties, because that's something, as I've talked to different people working on the marketing piece, it comes back to one thing. Our overall brand, nobody knows what that is anymore. And I say that just because, are we the Panthers? Are we IMO? Are we individual shirts? Are we this? And so we talked about, when I talk with individual peoples, of like, would the community know if they went out? Would they know by the gear that people have on that, oh, that's Innovation Montessori?
Yeah.
Or would they have no clue? And so I think we even have to get back to what can we all agree on. We talked about doing the MLK Day. I really would love that we all had similar shirts that marketed what they knew. I love all of the designs and they're great, but would anybody know what we really were?
Yeah, there's no.
We're a little bit of everything. And so it's funny, every individual that I talk to says, but I'm not sure what to call us.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm IMO, I'm not sure if I'm the high school, I'm not sure if I'm the Owls or the Panthers or what are we. So I think having that together and that engagement that we all, I think that's the next piece too. And that's what I was going to talk to the marketing committee about is now we need to streamline our brand. Like what do we want to be known as on our branding? Because you did a phenomenal job on the ads. Like that was great. But how now do we get our marketing material to reflect that? Because on our letterhead, it's all trees, the tree.
Yeah.
So it's like everything is different.
Yeah.
So I like that because I really hope at that parade that we have kids that people know, hey, that's Innovation Montessori because I could tell by what they have.
Especially with the Innovation High School now with Nona, right? Like, so like that,
yeah.
It's like, when you're pulling it up, it's like, how do we get that traffic here, right? Like, how do we really clarify what we are?
Yeah.
And
They'll get all their emails.
I'm sure.
Like they sign us up on Canvas
Yeah.
through all of Innovation Middle Charter as well.
Yeah.
And so they've added new ones. So I do think that's also our next step is getting with PTO, getting with our marketing committee, getting with the staff and saying, who are we? And what does that brand look like? And this is what we're pushing out.
Yeah. And one final note, like it's not just bringing in new people, it's the retention piece. Because when you put out beautiful stories about what's going on, your bigger audiences, your current families, right, to feel like they made the right decision, like there is something good at the end. Look at, this kid's doing that kid's doing this, that kind of thing. So really just, again, shine a spotlight on what's already happening. And I agree, the brand is just very disjointed. And it's okay, like it happened, right? It happened kind of organically and volunteers and all that. But when you look at, schools that have sophisticated outreach and marketing and all that, it's very
Even the colors.
Yes,
right. Like
the
even
colors
the colors.
are
What?
always
Right.
the same.
Yeah.
I started creating, and I'll bring it to the next meeting, a binder of samples, like from all the local magazines and whatnot. And, obviously we'll a little bit try to some of the private schools that have nice budgets and, generally a lot of experience in knowing what works for them, like what their value proposition is, just to get ideas for.
So this would be the maturity of the marketing committee into this.
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
I like this idea that we kind of but we're not running two different.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and I'm officially, I think, a board member now. I background stuff cleared like today.
Yeah, I saw that in my email this afternoon.
He saw all of our concerns. Kevin still.
They got rejected. Kevin, what did you do? Oh no. Oh dear.
One thing we have as one of our board goals, I just want to put out there, is updating our documents and charters and stuff. So if anybody is interested, his name rhymes with Simon. Shoot me an email. I think I don't want to lose sight of that, something that we wanted to accomplish this year. And I know, I think Alicia she talked to me, she's interested in that too.
I just freshly did the onboarding, and read through everything and whatnot. Who's ever working on that committee, or I can join the meeting throughout. There's oh, well, this document says this, but.
Yeah, they need it.
But I took notes since I was I was signing off that I was reading everything, so I can bring that.
Can we schedule
Stuff,
can we
just,
schedule a meeting in governance?
yeah.
And I'd like to be on that if I'm not already on it and or the chair. Yeah,
You're
to be on
the
it.
chair.
And or the chair. And we're gonna do that, and Simon's on it too, whether he knows or not. And we need to do that because I think that what's on the SharePoint study there when that came on.
Now it's
2009 or whatever.
Yeah.
And it needs updating. And we have current documents, they're just not there. We have a website, it's often not updated. So,
Even updated it today.
well, he updated the thing he was asked to update, which is all he can ever do.
Okay.
But I mean, we've got piles of sophisticated documents that aren't in the right place. So I'd like to have that meeting and just talk about where we need to be with them.
We want to look at the date, did it schedule?
Yeah, we do want to look at that date.
Otherwise it's.
I think it's actually really easy. Gotta get them.
We thinking November, December?
As for our board meetings, we do have one on November 11th, and we were talking about doing a retreat in November as well, on either the 16th or 23rd.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Would the retreat be a good time to also work on bylaws?
In that.
Two birds?
Necessarily.
We just need to update them.
Right,
So
yeah.
after we've had a chance to look, but how about the fourth, for Tuesday?
Or, yeah, I don't have. I'm good.
I'm gonna do it at like normal board time on the fourth. Hello?
Also, isn't the 23rd the start of safety?
Yeah. Yes. So perhaps the 16th is a better day for a retreat.
Well, it's not good.
November 4th, what time are you thinking? Ready? We doing Zoom? We don't need to be in person for that work.
Whatever. Okay. I'm gonna do it during school and work. And
Oh, yeah.
You can, whenever you want.
I think delete yourself. You have to leave it. I'm just trying to get you off of something.
I'm really helpful to compile all of your documents in one place.
Yep, I think it's more about getting everything right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Changing them.
So the actions will come to him, like where to post, but I don't know if he needs to. Do you think he's okay?
I'll be saying the same things twice.
Yeah, I had it in my
I serve with
in my
plenty of
calendar for
reports.
either the
You tell me
16th or 23rd. and
You
didn't.
tell me when I'm.
I just think we can do it.
Okay.
Save everybody time.
Wait, I'm sorry, who's sending this out?
Do you want me to send out a Zoom for y'all?
Yeah, everything.
Okay. Do I have to be on the committee? Okay.
I'll take that.
Okay.
So it's
The 4th at 6:30, I think. But just Zoom.
We can get that on the school calendar for you too.
What time are you thinking? 6:30, I think. 6:30. So it's the 4th at 6:30, I think. But just Zoom.
We can get that on the school calendar for you too.
Invitees are Karen, Simon, Alicia,
Kevin,
Kevin.
Stacy, anyone else? Great. All right. Okay, any other updates from committees?
Did you agree on the board retreat date?
We're good. Are we going to do the 16th of November for the board retreat? Stacy's still looking. Otherwise, would it be better to move it to early December since we don't have a December meeting? Maybe we do it after Thanksgiving if November's getting a little dodgy.
Yeah, I mean, we're already.
We could look at like December 7th or something.
Can't do the 7th.
No, that weekend doesn't work for us.
I think the 16th I can do.
The 16th of November? Okay. All right. Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
All righty.
works.
What time do you want, Stacy?
We do what, noon?
And 4 hours? Noon to 4? Okay.
Yeah. We did it here before.
We did. And is it just board?
It's the expanded admin team too. Last time.
Yeah,
Last time
a
it
big
was.
ask for them probably at that time period to see.
Yeah.
it. But I mean, yeah, they would be welcome to come. Just put them on the invite. I just think of a big ask. If
Oh, yeah.
they could come, that'd be great, but if not, then.
Yeah, I mean, if they can't, I'll be there.
Yeah.
Whatever question.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So no pressure. We'd love to have you, but no pressure. Because that's, a whole Sunday. All right.
Oh, one final update. Sarah and I talked about running a board table at Fall Fest.
Mhm.
And we talked about it would be to try to make it fun. So the concept is, the idea is to draw curiosity seekers. And so there'll be a big, there'll be an opportunity for children to vote, cat or dog. And in order to submit their ballot, they will have to share one thing that they love about their school and one thing that they wish they could change. And then they'll be able to vote for cat or dog. And then they'll get a sticker when they leave that has cat or dog. I made a chat GPT cat or dog with the cool shirt and logo. And so then when they're walking around Fall Fest and people are like, where'd you get that sticker? They'll point their friends to the table. So the idea is there'll be data collection from kids.
Yeah.
There'll be, any board members can sign up. I plan to be at the table. I think Sarah will do it, or Sarah will do a shift, but it's open to all, and it's just a way to stimulate conversation and get to know people, and also just bring something sort of fun, and also have kids having.
That's super cool.
Good job.
Yeah.
This is the perennial kid question.
Yeah.
Every generation of kids.
Yeah.
Argue over cat versus dog.
We'll take a shift. I'm planning on being there.
Yeah, I'm not able to make it that day. Do you want folks to just like email you ladies to?
I can send out an email with times.
Yeah. Lots of.
That's great. Any other committee updates? All right, Stacy, you're up next.
Yeah, the only other additional thing I was gonna see is if we needed to, potentially, where are we at with new candidates?
Right, good question. So, Chris is able to interview next month. I believe he's still on. Hey, Chris, he just turned his
Hello,
camera.
yep. I have November 11th before the meeting. Yep.
Okay, so we'll plan for that. This is Ryan's second meeting. He's been very active on the committee, so we'll get Ryan queued up. I just wanted to double check. I think I connected some meetings.
I still have to meet with him, yeah,
Okay,
officially, so I'll do that before.
but we already have, everyone's met with Ryan this,
Mhm.
yes, okay, okay. All right, so we're moving right along then.
Yeah.
So we'll plan on Chris for November. And then we'll get you in, Ryan.
We don't have a December, oh, in January. Okay, I was gonna say we don't have a December meeting. Yeah. We could do an interview
Could we just
on
do the
Zoom
interview
if you
on
want.
the
Yeah.
11th, and then we can hold potentially that third one would be, we don't have to make a vote until January, but just because we're already there.
Okay.
Yeah.
You available November 11th?
Yeah, should be.
Do you want to do one at 5:30 and one at 6, or one at 5 and one at 5:30?
It's gonna be really hard for me to get here before 5:30.
Oh, yeah, I work at an office now.
I say we do 5:30 and then 6, and then the board meeting starts at 6:30, so we'll just.
They'll have to be really succinct meetings. Interviews. Are you? Okay, that
6
day?
o'clock,
Right. So Chris, I've got you at 5:30 and Ryan at 6, if that
and then
works
we'll
for you
be at
both.
a lower, at a primary campus.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Music
In the
room.
music room at the elementary campus.
At a-
All right. Excellent.
That works. It's 8:31, so I think we good night's work.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Meeting is adjourned at 8:31 p.m. Have a great evening, and we'll talk to you next time.